What is going on, my fellow Jets fans? Did you miss me? Happy New Year, y'all. Welcome to the latest episode of the New York Jets State of Mind podcast, the first of many in 2025, coming at you every week at the bare minimum. My name is Malcolm Harper, aka MHJetsFan83. You can follow me on X, Instagram, and YouTube at MHJetsFan83, which is one word, all lowercase. You can find my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. This video version of this episode will also be posted on my YouTube channel at MHJetsFan83 once I'm done. Before I get into my thoughts on the disgraceful loss to the Buffalo Bills last Sunday, the latest Jets news, the injury report, and looking forward to the Week 18 matchup, the season finale, tomorrow afternoon against the Miami Dolphins. If y'all can do me a huge favor and share this podcast and my social media accounts, that'd be greatly appreciated. I hope you all out there had some much needed rest and spending time with your loved ones during the holidays. Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe so that my podcast and YouTube channel can grow. So with that being said, let me share my thoughts on the pathetic loss to the Buffalo Bills last Sunday. They were basically a no-show in this game. They were absolutely humiliated. The final score of the game was 40-14. Good thing was the fact that I was in Southern California, Anaheim, watching the game on my phone while I was shopping with my wife, and I was in my hotel room before I ended up going to Disneyland eventually. A-Rod was sacked 4 times in the game, and that brings his career sack total to 568 times, passing Tom Brady for the most sacked quarterback in the history of the NFL. I literally was laughing when Aaron Rodgers was called for a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, after the second interception. And this is where my breaking point came into play. This is when I told him, look, I'm done. When Aaron Rodgers throws the ball to Gary Wilson, he was juking around and he fumbles the ball, and it was recovered by the Bills, and it looked like Aaron Rodgers didn't even try to recover the ball. I literally turned off the TV and literally threw the remote onto the bed because, to me, I felt like the team actually quit at that point. The team's so undisciplined. Michael Clemens needed to go. What in the world was he thinking when he was jumping on top after the play was over? DJ Reed's already looking forward to free agency. Garrett Wilson after the game said it was embarrassing, as bad as it could get. Rodgers took himself out of the game, already down 40-0. So Tyrod Taylor took over in the fourth quarter and took the Jets right down the field for the 2 possessions that he did have. Final stats for Aaron Rodgers, and he was terrible, by the way. Let's call it for what it is. He was 12-18 for 112 yards, 0 TDs, and 2 interceptions. The one pass that should have been caught by Kenny Yeboah, he should have floated instead of going towards his feet. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't need to be upset because he was the one that threw the ball low. He should have threw it over to Kenny Yeboah. So that's just kind of my personal opinion about it. The Jets actually lost the takeaway battle 3-0. Not to mention the fact that this is what I talk about why we're so undisciplined. The Jets had 16 penalties for 120 yards. And wow, that tells you all you need to know. We need a real head coach in here and hold the players accountable. We need a culture change as well, too. And Jeff Ulbrich, if you guys seen the press conference last Monday, he literally had the nerve to say that Hassan Reddick is the most unselfish player he has ever been around. I literally laughed out loud when he said something like that. I was like, dude, what in the world were you thinking? What are you watching? Again, he is in and over his head. He's not a head coach. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm going to pound the table throughout the entire offseason for Mike Vrabel. Woody Johnson, what are you waiting for? Sign Mike Vrabel now. And big shout out to Jake Asman and Connor Long, because I basically put that in the live chat during their recordings. They both agree with me over the fact that, yes, we need Mike Vrabel and we need Thomas Dimitroff. If you tell me that's the power structure like Jake Asman said, I'm all in. So if we can't get Vrabel, my second choice, and as I mentioned in the previous episodes of my podcast, I would not mind that Brian Flores would be the second choice. He's from Brooklyn. He's a no-nonsense guy. And what he's doing right now as the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings is absolutely remarkable. Obviously, they got a huge game tomorrow on the road against the Detroit Lions for the chance to not only win the NFC North and also get the number 1 seed and a first-round bye in the NFC. So if the Jets could get either one of those guys, I would not mind getting Aaron Glenn, the former Jet, as a consolation prize. And you guys seen the report. Big shout out to Zach Rosenblatt on The Athletic for reporting first that yesterday Mike Vrabel was actually at the Jets facility doing the in-person interview, which I think that was pretty smart. And they got way ahead of the game as well too. So I appreciate Zach Rosenblatt for the exclusive tweet that he ended up putting about Mike Vrabel. So did you guys hear on the Flight Deck podcast this week from Rich Samedi that covers the Jets for ESPN? He says that's going to be a hard to get Mike Vrabel because Tom Brady, being the minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, that he is going to be heavily involved in the coaching search. And again, pair him with Thomas Dimitroff and let's go. I am sick and tired of the losing. I'm sick and tired of owner trying to think he gets all the headlines on the back sports page of the New York Post, the New York Daily News, and New York Newsday, and don't back him up with wins. That could only go but so far. You have to have the wins to back up, and obviously he has not done that. So now, along with 14 straight years of not going to the playoffs, Jet fans, did you guys know there's two things that also attached to this 14-year playoff drought? Right now, they have the second longest active drought of not winning the division, and that's 22 years in a row. We all know the last division championship was in 2002. Also, the Jets have the second longest active streak in the NFL with 5 straight years of double-digit losses. One winning season during that playoff drought, and that was in 2015. We all remember what happened we ended up going 10-6. We ended up losing the Week 17 game against the Buffalo Bills, which Rex Ryan was the coach. He knew the situation was. He literally knocked us out of the playoffs, and ever since that happened, Week 17 of 2015, the Jets have never, ever recovered from that. I'm going to take two teams, for example, and you guys can actually go and agree on this as well, too. Number one, let's look at the Los Angeles Chargers. Last year, they won 5 games, and as soon as Jim Harbaugh got there, they turned it around in one season, and look at them. They're getting ready to go in the playoffs. Another team we can go and look at, the Washington Commanders. They got new ownership after Daniel Snyder voluntarily stepped down for the day-to-day operations, and that was the toxic environment right there. Thank God he ended up selling the team and sold it to Josh Harris. So once the new ownership was actually in place, they hired Dan Quinn, and they got the quarterback right with Jalen Daniels, and they ended up winning 4 games last year. They're also going to the playoffs as well, too. I text my buddy that is a huge Commanders fan, so he knows how dysfunctional the franchise was before they all ended up getting there. So I ended up texting him and said, congratulations on making the playoffs. The Jets, the Jets fans, and y'all see the actual common denominator and what I just mentioned in terms of the LA Chargers and the Washington Commanders. If you hire the right football people and let them do their jobs, things can change real quick, real fast, and in a hurry. There's no more 3 to 5 year plans anymore. The two things that matter in sports, culture and coaching. That will never ever go away, no matter how much talent you got. The culture and the coaching is going to matter. And did you guys see Aaron Rodgers' press conference this week? He's already aware that tomorrow's game could be his last game as a Jet. And this is his direct quote. And I'm quoting this right here. I have it in my notes. He says, I'll just be enjoying this. I try to stay in the moment. It's been a long career. I'm really proud of what I've been able to be part of and what I've been able to accomplish. He also quoted, I need a break mentally. I don't want to make a decision until I've been able to rest mentally and physically. I just need a break to refresh, put my feet up in the sand, and see where I'm at after that. Well, he didn't mention also with the whole torn Achilles, the rehab, and all that stuff. Yes, I can understand why he ended up saying that. So, March is free agency. I don't think we're going to be that far because it's going to be a great regime change. There's change here with the GM, and then I'll either get a call or have a conversation and go on from there. Now, let's turn to some positive news for a second. Sauce Gardner was the winner of the Pro Football Writers Association Media Good Guy Award. He is the youngest to win the award, and well-deserved. And Jamie Sherwood, on another note, Jamie Sherwood won the team MVP as well, too. Jets, I better make sure we re-sign him because we already got our middle linebacker. We're going to be moving on for C.J. Mosley. So you guys, and he's also a free agent, and Jamie Sherwood was also a free agent. So make sure you actually go re-sign him as well, too. So he has developed a lot, converted from safety to middle linebacker. So kudos and big ups to Jamie Sherwood. Now, let's get to the injuries. I'm recording this on a Saturday morning. So this is the final injury report we have right now. So right now, we have Sauce Gardner that's going to be out with a hamstring injury. Leku Fotu with the knee injury. He is going to be doubtful for this game. Tyler Conklin is questionable with a calf. Morgan Moses questionable with a calf. AVT is questionable with an ankle. Quentin Williams is questionable with the hamstring injury. John Simpson, Chad Charette, Malachi Corley, and Hassan Reddick have all full practices for this game. So let's get to this season finale tomorrow against the Miami Dolphins. 4:25 kickoff. According to ESPN Bet, the opening line number for this game is 2.5. Now the spread has gone down to -1, which to me at the time was very surprising. I can understand why it's a -1 because Tua Tagovailoa is going to be doubtful for this game with a hip injury. But despite all that, I still have the Dolphins winning this game. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to say maybe 20-17. So before I get on out of here, let me get to my favorite part of the podcast, and that's the new follower shout out. So, and you guys know, if you guys have been following me since day one, I'm always a man of this people of this podcast. You guys make this happen. So I can't do this without you guys because you guys have been absolutely awesome just for taking time out of your busy schedule and either listening to me on any of the digital platforms or just watching my beautiful face on YouTube. I'm just kidding. Okay, so with that being said, each new follower that follows me on X, Instagram, and YouTube, I will give you a personal shout out. So with that said, I want to give a shout out to two people that ended up following me on X. So it's DP205XL. That's my main man, David Pearl. David Pearl, I love you, brother. Hopefully we'll be able to actually go to a Jets game together. So it's been a long time. And Sharice Harper. So as I'm recording this right now, I have no new followers on YouTube or X. So with that being said, I am signing off. I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting me on this podcast. If you're listening to this podcast for the very first time, please do me a favor and wherever you're listening at and whatever device you're listening on, please go to X, Instagram, and or YouTube and go to the search box and type in my name at MHJetsFan83. I will be posting this episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And I'll be posting this video on YouTube as well. So Jets fans, we have one more game left, and this lost season is officially about to be over, and we will be getting ready for the off season. I will be back next week to talk about what happened, and looking forward to the end of year press conferences with Woody Johnson, and also looking forward to what is going to be a anticipated off season with the new changes that will be going to the top with the new head coach and the new GM. So until then, take care, and as always, JETS, Jets. See you soon.